Hey, it's Golfina. Today I'm going to show you how to start and stop on hand sewing without using knots. I sew a lot of linen because I do a lot of early period garb. And if you've ever worked with linen, you know that depending on how tight of a weave you have, sometimes your knots will pull through the fabric. And linen likes to stretch and relax and move around and do a lot of weird stuff. So eventually, after time, those knots start pulling at the warp and weft of your fabric and work themselves through, and then you end up with split seams and things like that that you have to go back and repair. So I'm going to show you how I start and stop my hand sewing. This is really useful for a lot of different applications. But anyway, start with one threaded needle with thread and look at that background. Still don't work. Anyway, no knot. Okay. So you're going to take your needle and start it into your fabric. You're going to go through and come back up, or you can go through and come up as two separate stitches. It doesn't matter. However you sew. And this is going to be tricky getting it on the camera. Let's see what we can do to back farther. There we go. Okay. So pull until your string is almost all the way through. Good grief. There we go. You can see there's still a little bit of an end of the thread. And then you're just going to go back and do another stitch right in the same spot. Okay. So we're coming right back through. You want to make sure that that little tail doesn't pull through. So, you know, hang on to it if you need to the first couple times until you get used to it with your fingernail or something. And then just pull your stitch. So that's one stitch. And then if you just do 2 or 3 of these in exactly the same spot, there's 2 and 3. There we go. You end up with a start that looks like that. It's kind of hard to see, but you see this on jeans and stuff. If you think about it, when you're using your sewing machine and you start on a line of sewing and you do the little backstitch thing, you know, and you anchor or secure your stitch and then you go, that's exactly what you're doing here. You're not tying a knot when you start on a machine, and you don't have to do it by hand either. Anyway, then you just continue on sewing your seam, and when you get to the end, you just do the same thing, 2 or 3 stitches in the same spot, and trim your thread, and you're done. And it holds really well. Like, you don't have to worry about it coming loose. I can't even get it to loosen up by pulling on it, so I've had to remove stitches before when I made a mistake, and it was a little harder. I had to come back and snip it with the scissors. But once you get your next stitches in, it's nice and taut, and it'll do really well for you. So anyway, that's it. Bye.